Welcome to this month's edition of OSU Extension Monthly. This month we're going to talk about an A word, but we're not going to talk about allergies, even though everybody has a lot of allergies right now. Actually, what we're going to talk about in this segment is going to be arthritis. How that we, those of us who have arthritis, can thrive with it. We're going to talk about living with arthritis as a way that we can coexist and manage our arthritis and not have arthritis manage us. Sometimes we let that physical sensation of swelling, pain, tenderness, stiffness, redness dictate our activity, our frame of mind, and let it interfere with our day-to-day living. From the Arthritis Foundation, there are some things that they suggest that we take into consideration in relation to arthritis. One of them means that for us to control it, we have to respect the pain. We have to recognize the pain, what it's for, where it came from, and what we can do to minimize that. And one of those things that we can do is to pace ourselves. I know a lot of people who have arthritis say, well, I'm just going to work through the pain and I'm just going to go ahead and get what I got to do done. I'm kind of guilty of that myself. But I have learned through the years that if I pace myself and try to avoid some stressful situation, I can manage that pain a little easier. Another thing that they recommend that we do is that we change our position frequently. A lot of people with arthritis just sit down or they lay down because it does feel better, but it's not beneficial for you to do that. Although you do need to take some brief resting periods and time, we also have to continue to use our largest joint and our strongest joints and muscles and get our tasks done. Also, and later in the program, we'll talk about some assistive devices that can help us with an activity that we really start to enjoy about this time of the year. You know, arthritis, lots of people have arthritis and it comes in many, many forms. In a little bit in this program, we're going to have Ashley talk about some of the types of arthritis that people have. Some of us are very familiar with some of them, but there may be a few that will kind of surprise you. There's over 824,000 Oklahomans who suffer from arthritis, and I bet many of them live here in our viewing area. What exactly is arthritis? Well, if we define the term, we divide that word into two, and the arth part refers to our joints. When we have two bones or elements that meet together, that joint is what connects our bones together. And it's also what allows us to wiggle our toes, our hands, wave goodbye, bend at the knee, bend our elbows, turn our head. Those are joints. And they have to be kept well lubricated. Sometimes that doesn't happen, or we lose that fluid that's in there that cushions those joints. And what happens is the bones begin to rub together. And when they do, it's painful. Itis is the other part of arthritis, and that is the inflammation part. It's the reaction of living tissues that are within our body that have been injured or have been affected by infection. Now, not all forms of inflammation, like not all types of arthritis have inflammation. Some of them, like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, those are always related to inflammation in your body. These rheumatic diseases, such as lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, they affect the connective tissues that hold the joints and the bones into place. And they cause swelling and inflammation, but they can be improved with medication, diet, exercise, as well as stress management. I think a lot of people don't realize that the stressful lives that we live can really cause us to develop some forms of arthritis. There are some very common forms of arthritis, and some of us are very well aware of those. But then there's some that maybe people don't realize that they are considered a form of arthritis. For example, fibromyalgia. That's a new term that, in the last few years, lots and lots of people have been diagnosed or been told by their doctor that they have fibromyalgia. I'm one of those that's been told that. And I have learned, because of having been told that there are some things that I need to do. And some of those is reduce the stress level in my life, take some time out for myself, pace myself, make sure that I take short periods of rest and all of those kinds of things. We're going to find out a little bit more about the different types of arthritis, and I'm going to turn the program over to Ashley, and she's going to cover some of those.
Thanks, Arlene. As you mentioned, arthritis is the inflammation of the joints and can be very painful. But few people know that there are different forms of arthritis. There's such as gout, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, fibromyalgia, juvenile arthritis, and brutus and tendinitis. First, we're going to discuss gout, also known as the disease of kings, or the arthritis for the rich. It is so named because of the rich foods that rich people ate, such as alcohol, meat, breads, butter, sugar, and cheese. The gout is an intense pain that attacks the big toe or the heel and ankle. It occurs when crystals of uracil acid form on the tissue and cause pain and inflammation. It affects nearly 6 million Americans, but mostly of them are men. Osteoarthritis is a degenerative arthritis where cartilage is lost because of normal wear and tear through the years. Usually more common in your older people. It causes joint injuries, weak muscles, and usually breaks down the joint cartilage. It's pain with stiffness and swelling. It reduces joint mobility and it affects nearly 27 million Americans. It is one of the more common arthritis. Osteoporosis, which is just weakening of the bones. As we get older, our bones get more brittle. The body takes away chunks of calcium and everything through the body, causing them to be weaker. This affects about 44 million Americans over the age of 50. Most commonly in women after they've reached menopause. After the age of 30, we all begin to lose bone mass. However, the thicker our bones are, the longer it takes to develop the bone disease. Women are more likely to develop both osteoporosis and osteospinatus because women have a lower peak of bone density to begin with, and hormonal changes of menopause can cause speedy bone loss. We have rheumatoid arthritis, or also known as RA. This form of arthritis is a systematic disease, meaning that it involves the whole body. RA affects approximately 1.3 million Americans, and 75% of those are women, mostly in the ages of 20 to 30. Rheumatoid arthritis is the body's immune system is attacking itself. It's attacking the joints lining, causing significant pain, swelling, stiffness, and usually causes permanent damage or deformity. RA also affects the heart, lung, liver, kidneys, all internal organs, as well as the hands and joints. It first starts in the hands and wrists and feet, and then moves up to the knees, hips, elbows, shoulders, and then eventually into the jaw. RA attacks the synovial fluid or synovial membrane, which is a thin membrane that lines your joints. This membrane thickens the produce chemicals that damage the hard components. The symptoms associated with are fairly consistent. General impact from day to day. For others, the symptoms can come and go, and they leave They can flare up at times of joy or relaxation. Next we have lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease where the immune system begins to attack its own tissue. It causes inflammation, pain, swelling, and damage. There is no known cause to lupus. It was first thought to be environment, genetics, hormones, or immune system, but it's still unknown to how it's caused. Lupus symptoms include joint pain, fever, fatigue, and rash. Most people or 9 out of 10 people that have lupus are women. It affects Africans, Asians, Native Americans, and two to three times more likely to get it than Caucasians. This disease usually occurs between the ages of 15 to 44. And there's 2 different types of lupus. The less serious and the more serious. I guess it's a simple way to break down lupus. The less serious mainly affects the skin that is exposed to the sunlight, but doesn't affect the internal organs. It just causes a rash and uncomfortable sensation after being out in the sun. Then you have the more serious kind of lupus. This affects the skin, internal organs, and it can damage connective tissues of joint, muscles, along the membrane of lungs, hearts, and kidneys. For more information about lupus, you can go to the webmd.com/lupus-guide/understanding/lupus/basic. Then we have fibromyalgia. This is a syndrome that, again, has an unknown cause. It is said to be a disease of the brain, as people say, because no one knows where it comes from or why you have it. And usually if you have it, people don't believe you because you say you hurt everywhere, and people are like, no, it's all in your head. So it's a disease of the brain. With this one, it's affects 12 million Americans. Most of them are women between the ages of 25 and 60. And the symptoms of fibromyalgia include fatigue, sleep deprivation, depression, and pressure sensitivity. It is usually when your joints, muscles, and everything, tissue of your body hurt just to the touch. It doesn't cause any damage or any damage to the muscle or joints, but it can impair them and make it difficult to do everyday tasks. We have juvenile arthritis, or JA. This is an autoimmune disease conducted with pain, swelling of the joints, and usually affect younger children under the age of 18. It affects about 294,000 children. It is diagnosed based on the component of medical history. Altered growth of bone and joints can lead to short stature with JA. And some symptoms of it is joint swelling, warm and redness are usually common. Now we'll go into less scary forms of arthritis. We have rheumatitis and tendonitis. Usually these are short and they don't cause permanent damage. Rheumatitis or brusa rheumatitis affects the brusa, which is a small sac of cushion where the muscle crosses another muscle on the bone, and it just simply becomes inflamed. Just take care of it and eventually the pain will reside and not affect. Tendons in the body are fibrous cords, so they're like interlocking like that. And tendonitis is just when one of the fibers simply becomes inflamed. So doing a simple stretch or just having muscles sit on top of each other causes a little sore. But like I said, those don't last too long and they'll go away. And I will leave it to Katie to tell you about the facts and myths about arthritis.
And so like Ashley said, I'll be talking about some facts and myths about arthritis. True or false, does eating oranges and grapefruit causes osteoarthritis pain? That would be false. In fact, they are rich in vitamin C and therefore can be helpful in warding off pain and keeping it from getting worse. True or false, walking is the best exercise for osteoporosis? That would be true. There are several good forms of exercise to help maintain bone health, including biking and swimming. However, walking is a weight-bearing exercise that can make this form of activity an excellent way to maintain bone health. What does weight-bearing mean? It means you have your feet on the ground, which forces your bone to support your weight. Such exercises continues to strengthen your bones. Walking, jogging, hiking, climbing, aerobic, tennis, or weight training are all good ways to combat the effects of osteoporosis. Always check with your doctor before starting an exercising program. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, exercise is bad on your joints. True or false? This would be false. The key is to balance between adequate rest and exercise. Staying active keeps joints and muscles toned and healthy while also helping to fight fatigue and improve the quality of sleep. If you feel pain when exercising, again, ask your doctor about modifying to make it easier on the joints. Only men get gout. True or false? This would be false. Both men and women can develop gout. However, it is more common in men. The age of developing gout is generally in middle or late life for men and after menopause for women. It is rare for anyone to develop it before the age of 30. If young people do develop this disease, that means it would be more severe. People with lupus, do they have a sensitivity to light? True or false? This would be true. People with lupus have sensitivity to the sun and other forms of ultraviolet light. A day outside may trigger a skin rash to pop up in areas exposed to the sunlight. It can also make existing lupus symptoms worse. Certain medication can enhance the effects of sunlight. So with people with lupus, they should avoid midday or tropical sun entirely. They should wear hats, visor, long sleeve, light clothing, etc. Also, they should wear a sunscreen with a SPF of at least 70. Apply at least 1 ounce to cover the body. Also, don't forget the neck, ears, and back as well with the sunscreen. Antidepressants, physical therapy, and counseling are conventional methods for treating fibromyalgia. True or false? This would be true. There is no magic bullet in treating fibromyalgia. The main goal is just to help make the person feel better. This means the conventional methods of improving their lives are wide-ranging and tailored to what works for each individual. Antidepressants can help with mood and stability, while physical therapy helps to build strength and improve the range of motion. Lastly, talking with a professional counselor is recommended to help people learn how to cope and build resilience with what can be a painful and often frustrated condition.
Well, one of the activities that a lot of people who have arthritis, different types of arthritis, especially those that give them stiffness and pain, will stop doing is gardening. And this is the time of the year, April, when our minds start thinking about getting out and working in the yard and gardening. And you know, a lot of us really do enjoy that ability to get out and garden, to tend to the flowers, tend to their vegetables, and just play in the dirt. I'm one of those people that like that. But here's the thing. If we eliminate gardening, that is one activity that really can vastly help in combating that stiffness and pain of arthritis. So it really is not something that we should not do. Of course, as always, we always recommend that you check with your healthcare provider before you do certain activities if your doctor has told you that you have arthritis. Most doctors are going to tell you to continue with your activities, and especially those activities where you're moving those joints. And those that we use whenever we're gardening are the ones that we really do need to keep flexible and be able to maintain our bone density. We know that gardening ranks as high as weight training when it comes to strengthening bone. That's really a good plus thing for us to do when we go into gardening. So what I'd like to finish out our program with today is to show you some tools that if you have arthritis that could really help you enjoy your gardening experience a little more. So one of the things I have here is this is a trowel, of course, and there also is a little fork that goes with it, as well as this one right here, a cultivator. So all of these things, as you can see, do not have straight handles. They have handles that come up where you're able to grab it just like this and use it. That keeps you from using your joints and your bone inappropriately. When I was a little girl, I didn't obey my grandmother who told me not to use the wringer washing machine. Well, I did it anyway, and I turned it on and I picked a washcloth up out of the tub and started through the wringer washer with it. I had both hands on the washcloth and I stuck it up there to the wringer washer. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but if you've lived long enough, you know what a wringer washer is. But my hands went through that. There's 2 rollers there. My hands went through there. So now as I'm older, I definitely know the effects of disobeying my grandmother because I have arthritis in this joint right here in my hand. So tools such as these right here are wonderful for me whenever I do my gardening because they reduce some of the stress that you can put on that joint whenever you are using a regular tool to dig in the garden. These are tools that are available and if you'd like more information on them, you can stop by the Texas County OSU Extension Office and I can tell you how you can get these tools and they'll be really great for you. So real quickly, we're going to talk about this particular tool here. It is actually a back saver and you attach it onto a shovel and it gives you a different angle that you use. So a lot of times we can continue to do the same activities, we just have to do it at a different angle. This particular tool is one that you can attach to a shovel and use it to put your foot here. It gives you a wider surface and more leverage whenever you're using the shovel. That's the same thing. I have my shovel here. I really, really like this shovel. As you can see, it has these little points out here that gives you some place to put your foot. I also have torn the ligaments in my foot and I have arthritis in the ankle, and so a shovel of this nature, it helps me to enjoy my gardening a lot more. Okay. Sorry about that one. Here's another little thing you can put on a tool like a broom or something like that. That will help you. You ever have trouble turning on a faucet? Here's a tool that can help you with that. That'll take some of the stress and pain off your hands. Here's some goes on a bucket handle so that you can carry a bucket easier. And then the last thing I'm going to show you here, well, I have 2 more things I guess I'm going to show you here. This is a hammer. And this is not your traditional, typical hammer. It's one that people who have arthritis will find more useful to them. This hammer actually does cost $42.50, which is, you think, wow, that's a lot to spend for a hammer. But you'll be amazed at the difference it will make if you have problems with arthritis. And the last thing is something that I really should have been using last week when I was down on my knees doing some cleaning. My knees are telling me all about it. But knee pads. And you can buy these anywhere, but these knee pads are really thick. They have an adjustable Velcro strap, and they're water resistant, so they're perfect for being out in the garden. Talking about arthritis, one of the programs that'll be coming up in the next month through the Texas County OSU Extension Office is one called Walk with Ease. It is a program put out by the Arthritis Foundation, and it teaches those who participate in the program how they can use walking. But we don't just focus on walking, we'll also focus on some stretching and other types of exercises that'll be really helpful for those people who suffer from arthritis. So if you're interested in that program, you can call the Texas County OSU Extension Office. That number is 580-338-7300 and get more information and even sign up to do that program. We're going to get outside and enjoy the fresh air and in the sunshine. Of course, if you got lupus, that might be a problem. But if you do have arthritis and would be interested in that program, contact us and let us know. We've got some other things coming up. We've got some marketing programs through the Ag program here in the OSU Extension Office that'll be coming up. We have some 4-H things. There's a program called Raise Your Hand for 4-H. So if you're a 4-H alumni, we'd like for you to contact us, find out how you can help the state of Oklahoma win some money that will help our 4-H program even here in Texas County. Also, now that state testing for the schools are over, there will be some programming going on called Get Fit for Life. It's a nutrition, physical education program that'll be going on in several of the schools here in the county. Another thing is parenting classes. We offer those through the OSU Extension Office, and one that'll be upcoming is called Active Parenting of Teens. So if you've got a teenager that's being rude, disrespectful, ugly to you, come find out how you can change that behavior in your child. And then another thing that I'm really kind of excited about is that we're starting a cookbook club. And it's going to meet the first Monday of each month here at the Texas County OSU Extension Office. And we're just going to bring recipes, bring dishes that we made. We're going to eat. We'll have some demonstrations, some other program. The next one will be May the 1st, and it starts at 5:30 here at the OSU Extension Office. And I will be doing a demonstration on making crepes. So if you're interested in cooking, come and you'll learn some great things from some great people. We appreciate your time with us today, and hopefully you're not one of those that suffers from arthritis, but as we know, many, many people do. And we are here and we can help you how to learn to manage the pain and stiffness that you might have through having arthritis. Come by and see us here at the OSU Extension Office. We're always glad to have you as part of our organization and our service to you. And we appreciate our opportunity that we have to be here to serve you.